2K rosters for day 3 of the NBA season, reviewing the games for October 27th, 2023. 11 games, 22 teams, 340 pieces on the night. Let's get rolling. The Dallas Mavericks beat the Nets 125 to 120. Luka Magic strikes again, 49 points, an NBA high so far. 10 rebounds, 7 assists, 16 of 25 from the field, 9 of 14 on threes, 8 of 10 from the free throw line, as career high in three-point made for Luka Doncic. He was guarded by Cam Thomas in this game, so certainly had a pretty good looks the entire night. But down the stretch, he hit a bunch of crazy shots, including his final one to put the Mavericks ahead with 26 seconds left. He was double teamed and hit a 3-point hook shot off the glass, contested, to take the lead. One of the most ridiculous shots I've ever seen in my life. He's just totally unstoppable. Had 33 points in the opener, so he's now averaging 41 points. Also 11.5 rebounds and 8.5 assists over his first 2 games. Hey, who knows? Maybe he'll be the first player to average 40 points. Anything is really possible with Luka. Lost in all of that was this is the first game for Kyrie Irving to get his rematch against the Brooklyn Nets. Kyrie kind of had a quiet night, 17 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 6 of 17 from the field. Tim Hardaway Jr. had 19 points. I got to get his rating up. Let's actually just do that now. I haven't done the intangibles boosts for any of the Dallas Mavericks yet, but we got to get the rating for Grant Williams and Tim Hardaway Jr. up. I got to do a full rating edit for Grant Williams. I'll try to do that before the Dallas's next game. But Dwight Powell, he played in this one, had 11 points on 4-4 shooting. Derek Lively, he was also 4-4. I did his attributes, didn't do his badges yet. I'm trying to get him up to 70, like 5-ish overall. And oh look, his intangibles are way too low too. Let's get that up just a little bit. Well, he's got the 75. Maybe with the badges I'll get him up to a 76. He started in this game. Maxi Kleber came off the bench. I think that Maxi was just starting because of the Wembanyama matchup. But Lively, he was solid in this one. He played really well in the previous game as well. He's 11 for 12 on field goals in his career. Basically, he's exactly what the Dallas Mavericks were hoping for when they signed JaVale McGee. So looking for him to probably make the all-rookie like second team, let's say, as long as he keeps getting this kind of opportunity. Grant Williams, he had a rough game with 5 points and 5 fouls in 29 minutes. Had a much better game in the opener. Let's go over to the Brooklyn Nets and review what they did in this one. Cam Thomas had a rough defensive game being matched up with Luka. But he had 30 points again, had 36 in the opener, so he's averaging 33 points per game himself. Absolutely needs a higher overall rating. He got the start in this one as the Nets were without Nicholas Claxton and Cam Johnson. So Royce O'Neal got the start, as did Dorian Finney-Smith was the starting center, essentially. Ben Simmons was the point guard on offense, but basically the center on defense, so he didn't draw the matchup against Luka very much in this game. I'm sure Claxton's rim protection was the lack of rim protection was certainly felt in this game, as Luka was able to get to the rim kind of at will, and that's what made him such a deadly shooter as well. Is they had to underplay him a little bit, not apply so much pressure to prevent him from getting to the rim and scoring at will. Mikal Bridges, he had 18 points on 6 of 17 shooting. Kind of a down game for him, but solid overall. Spencer Dinwiddie, he was waiting for this game, revenge game for him. 23 points, 8 assists, outplayed Kyrie Irving in this one with 6 of 12 on threes. But unfortunately, the Nets did come up short. A revenge game also for Dorian Finney-Smith, 12 points, 4 of 7 on threes. Royce O'Neal, he got the start, as mentioned before, 11 points and 10 rebounds. Ben Simmons played better than he did in the opener, almost had a triple-double. 10 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 5 of 8 from the field, didn't take a 3 or a free throw, had 2 steals and 2 blocks, and 2 turnovers in 32 minutes. Solid game overall. It's a work in progress so far. Lonnie Walker he did not play in the opener, but he did in this one, scoring 14 points, 4 of 6 on threes. Nuts were bombing threes a lot in this one, as you would expect with a small ball lineup. And Dennis Smith, he did not have a revenge game. He played well in the opener, but fell down to earth in a bad way. In this one, had 0 points on 0 of 3 shooting, 4 fouls in 8 minutes. Just too small. He was guarding Luka on a couple shots, and he was just too small. Let's go on over to the Golden State Warriors, as Steph Curry had one of the other 40 pieces on the night. Draymond Green, of course, is still out with injury. Did not play in this one against the Sacramento Kings. The Warriors dispatched the Kings 122 to 114 as a repeat of last year's first round series. Curry put the Kings to sleep. He did the night at the end of the game. 41 points, 14 of 19 shooting, 7 of 10 on 3, 6 of 6 from the line. They just had no answers for him defensively. It was totally impossible guard for Kevin Huerter. This is what Curry at shooting guard looks like. He's going to have a mismatch on the vast majority of nights. Chris Paul was solid in his start at point guard, 10 points, 12 assists, 3 steals. Klay Thompson chipped in 18 points, Wiggins 11, Kevon Looney 8 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, and Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody combined for 22 points off the bench. Heading over to Sacramento, De'Aaron Fox, he matched Curry in this one with 39 points, 4 assists, 14 of 28 from the field, 5 of 9 on threes, 6 of 7 from the line. So picking up where he left off with his All-NBA season last year. Sabonis also was All-NBA, and he led the league in rebounding last year. Looks to repeat on that. 19 points, 18 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals. Worth noting that he was hampered by injury during the playoff series, so he played a little better in this one. But the Kings need an overhaul, I think, if they're going to be like true contenders. Keegan Murray, he was pretty good in this one. 16 points and 7 rebounds. Harrison Barnes was solid, 10 points, 4 or 5 from the field. But the Kings, they really need like a power forward to pair with Sabonis. Like Sabonis as your defensive anchor, the Kings just aren't going to be able to stop anybody in a playoff series. They need somebody like an Aaron Gordon to play next to Sabonis, like Nikola Jokic has in Denver. So I'm not really, Murray I think is going to make a fine wing player. Like he's like the Michael Porter Jr. of this team. He's going to score efficiently, but it's not Harrison Barnes' fault. But they don't need two efficient like wing scorers in the front court. They have enough scoring. They need some actual defensive players if they're going to be legit contenders, and especially since the Western Conference I think is a little bit improved this year. Last year it was a little weak when the Kings made that 3rd seed. And just to round off them, Trey Lyles was a DNP again due to injury. So Sasha Vezenkov, he had his best game as a pro, scoring 10 points, hitting 2 threes. Again, another offensive guy. The Kings don't, he is probably the best shooter on the team, but the Kings aren't lacking for offense. They just need somebody who's going to put some defensive pressure. And as mentioned before, Kevin Huerter had a really rough night. I can't even find him. There he is up there. 0 points, 0 of 5 shooting, only played 16 minutes, was getting cooked all night by Steph Curry, so they had to put in Chris Duarte. Chris Duarte didn't fare any better. He fouled out in 26 minutes and was like 1 for 7 from the field. So Curry, 41 points versus 2 points combined for the Sacramento shooting guards. All right. And then let's go over to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Donovan Mitchell, he had the other 40-piece on the night, scoring 43 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 15 to 27 from the field, 4 of 11 on threes, 9 of 11 from the free throw line, had 3 steals in 42 minutes. Had all that opportunity because Darius Garland missed this game with injury. Mitchell typically has big games without Garland. I think he ends up as a point guard long term after he leaves Cleveland, which, if they don't make any noise in the playoffs this season, that seems pretty likely to me. And you can't have Mitchell at 2 guard is kind of just too small defensively, I think. Any team that he's a part of it's going to be difficult to find a backcourt mate that, there are point guards who defend uh, and hit threes. 3-and-D point guards don't really grow on trees, and that's essentially what you need with Mitchell as a point guard with size to play alongside him if he is playing the two. Otherwise, you're probably just it's more easy to find, like Max Strus would be a solid backcourt mate next to Donovan Mitchell, and guys like him are way easier to find than guys who do it at the one. Finishing off the rest of the Cavs, Evan Mobley, 14 points and 15 rebounds, did not take a three. He's filling in for the injured Jarrett Allen, so I don't anticipate that he's going to take any threes while Jarrett Allen is out. But if Mobley's going to become an all-star caliber player, he needs to develop his outside shot so that he can turn these 14-point games into 20-point games at the very least. And Max Strus, he fell back down to earth in this one. 8 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 of 14 from the field, 2 of 11 on threes. He is 9 of 24 from 3 on the year, though, and that's still a lot better than what they've been starting out Isaac Okoro for the last couple of years. So even on his off nights, Strus is still able to stretch the floor and has gravity on the 3-point line. You just can't leave him open like you could to Okoro. So a valuable member of this team and part of why Mitchell was able to get as many good looks as he did. Career Levert also had 17 off the bench in this one to kind of bounce back from an erratic game in the last one. But let's head over to the OKC Thunder, who actually beat the Cavaliers in this one, even though I started off with them. Beat the Cavs 108-105. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 34 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, picking up where he left off on his All-NBA first-team season last year. 15 of 26 from the field, 2 of 2 on threes, 2 of 2 from the line. Also had 5 steals. Chet Holmgren is going to be a dark horse for Rookie of the Year. He is essentially not too different from what Victor Wembanyama is, to be honest. 16 points, 13 rebounds, had 7 blocks, 5 of 9 from the field, 3 of 4 on threes. He's basically skinny Brook Lopez. Lou Dort, he had 25 points on 9 of 16 shooting in this one, bouncing back from a subpar shooting night. He had 3 for 4 on threes in this one. Jalen Williams, he was erratic, 14 points, 4 of 14 from the field. Josh Giddey, dud offensive game, 2 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 of 8 from the field in 29 minutes. I just don't think that the backcourt pairing of SGA and Giddey is super effective. Giddey's probably not going to take off in his career until he gets moved to another team. And Cason Wallace, he's been solid so far. 9 points, 3 for 4 from the field, 1 for 1 on threes. 8 for 9 in his career so far, and has yet to miss a 3, 4 for 4. So look for his rating to go up in the official 2K roster in a couple weeks. Let's head on over to the Utah Jazz, who beat the Clippers in a wild one, 120-118. Wild inning in Utah. Jordan Clarkson had essentially the game-winning 3, but was otherwise erratic. He had 13 points and 6 assists, 4 of 13 from the field, but he did hit the biggest shot of the night. Lauri Markkanen, 35 points, 12 rebounds, 12 of 23 from the field, 5 of 13 on threes, 6 of 6 from the free throw line, had 5 offensive rebounds. At the end of the game, he had like 3 offensive rebounds in 1 possession as the Clippers, they just went too small and then got killed on the glass. A little bit on that in a second. John Collins, he had 13 points and 12 rebounds, was 1 for 5 on threes, so he's still trying to work his way. It's round hole, square peg, that whole thing. He did have 5 offensive rebounds though, as the Utah Jazz matched the Clippers on that end. Kelly Olynyk, he hit a couple clutch threes in the fourth quarter. 15 points, 5 of 6 from the field, 2 of 2 threes in the fourth quarter. He's Kessler's backup rather than John Collins. I originally thought that they were going to be competing for the starting job, but in actuality, Olynyk is not playing any power forward so far this season. He's just exclusively been Kessler's backup, which makes sense because, Kessler's a great defensive player, but limited offensively. So when you put Olynyk out there at the 5, it just completely opens things up offensively. And against a team like the Clippers, it was just a perfect matchup for him. Talen Horton-Tucker, he had 10 points and 8 assists, but only shot 3 of 10 from the field. Colin Sexton, he had 13 points off the bench as well. 17 total offensive rebounds for Utah to the 30 for the Clippers. So they overall just smashed them. This front court of Lauri Markkanen being your small forward and being able to rock with Collins at the 4 and then either Olynyk or Kessler at the 5. And it's just so much size for a lot of teams to deal with. Worth noting, I changed Chris Dunn's position back to point guard. He was actually the point guard down the stretch of this game. I had him at small forward based on how he was utilized last game. He was basically the backup for Lauri Markkanen, but I think his usage in this game is probably more in line with what he's going to be doing. So for the substitution pattern for this game in the first quarter, Sexton, what's it called? THT, Lauri, and Kessler checked out. For Sexton, Lauri for Ochai, and then Kessler for Olynyk. That was the first wave of subs. And then Clarkson later for Dunn. And Ochai. I'm sorry. And then Lauri came back in for John Collins. So from here, I would actually say that Dunn is the point guard rather than Sexton. Sexton's the 2 guard in this lineup. Sexton, of course, plays, he's a combo guard. He's played most of his career at 2 guard. So based on, if they stick with this rotation, I think it definitely makes sense for Dunn to be the starting point guard. All 3 of these guys, Dunn, Sexton, and THT, are still getting point guard minutes. I would still leave Sexton's primary position at point guard for now, but that could change just depending on how the rotation shakes out in Utah. I don't think in the previous game, Keyonte George came in a little earlier. He was the 2 guard in those lineups, which is maybe why Dunn ended up playing like some 3 and some 4. Obviously, things are going to be matchup dependent, but in this one, Dunn was the point guard, and that's why I'm rocking with him as back at his normal traditional position. Heading over to the LA Clippers. Kawhi Leonard had, Paul George, he had the big night in this one. 36 points, 9 of 17 from the field, 3 of 9 on threes, 15 of 15 from the free throw line, played 36 minutes. And Kawhi Leonard, 25 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 10 of 22 from the field, 4 of 10 on threes, 37 minutes. If Kawhi and Paul George are both healthy and back to full strength, then the Clippers absolutely do not need James Harden. They don't need more shot creation on this team. They need guys who are going to defend and grab a rebound. Russell Westbrook, 4 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists in this game, 2 for 4 from the field in 37 minutes. 4 field goal attempts in 37 minutes for Russell Westbrook. I don't understand why he couldn't do this with the LA Lakers over the last 2 years. Norm Powell, he had 20 points, 7 of 10 shooting, efficient game off the bench for him. Bones Highland had 12 points off the bench as well. They don't lack for offense, they just need some defensive role players. Terrence Mann was expecting to be one of those guys, but he was a DNP again due to injury, so Robert Covington got the start. Ivica Zubac had a big game in the last one, but very quiet in this one, 6 points, only 2 rebounds in 19 minutes, so subpar game for him on that end. And obviously, Utah killed. If he's not going to give the rebounds, that's essentially why they were playing Nick Batum at the 5 down the stretch, as they were getting killed on the glass either way. So might as well go with the guy who's going to space the floor the most. And obviously, Batum, I think, is Kelly Olynyk can't abuse him in the post or anything. It's a pretty good defensive matchup, but obviously they just didn't have enough on the glass to stop Utah in this one. Let's go over to the Celtics, who beat the Heat 119 to 111. Just an all-around performance for the Boston Celtics. Derek White led them with 28 points, 5 of 7 on threes. Jaylen Brown, 27 points. Jason Tatum, 22 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Logged some point guard minutes. So this is, again, part of why I have Tatum as like a small forward shooting guard rather than like as a power forward. I do have Jaylen Brown so far logged as a power forward. 2K's lack of a third position is starting to really affect things because Brown did log shooting guard minutes in this game, and Tatum obviously he's logging positions. He's logging minutes at multiple positions, and 2K is eventually going to have to account for this, or else their gameplay is going to suffer considerably. Porzingis had the big one, the big game in the opener, a little quieter this time, 17 points, 9 rebounds. Drew Holiday, he was quiet offensively in the first game, but almost triple-doubled here, 17 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. I mentioned a lot of big lines for all the starters, and that's because they only got 8 points from the entire bench. Al Horford notably was 0 for 6 in this one, so expect a lot of games like that from the Boston Celtics. They are extremely top-heavy compared to, I'd say, they're probably the most top-heavy team of any contender of the last 10 years, I would say, if not 20. Let's head on over to the Heat. Kind of a ho-hum game for them. Bam had led them in scoring again with 27 points, but on 10 of 24 shooting, so not the most efficient game. Bounce back game for the backcourt. Tyler Hero had a bad shooting night in the first one, but 28 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 10 of 19 from the field, 5 of 12 on threes. And then Kyle Lowry, he only took 1 shot in the previous game. Had 13 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists. Back to normal for him. That's what I just really expect from him on most nights. Jimmy Butler was quiet, 14 points on 3 for 11. He'll have nights like this every now and then. And then the only notable bench performer was Drew Smith, who was on a two-way, but made the opening night roster, and he's essentially the backup two-guard with Josh Richardson sidelined. He had 9 points, 3 of 4 on threes in 23 minutes, so definitely got to get his overall rating up since he is part of the rotation for the moment. Going over to the Denver Nuggets, who beat the Memphis Grizzlies 108-104. Nikola Jokic, 22 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists. Pretty standard game for him, looking for his third MVP in 4 years. Can't triple-double every game, but Jamal Murray, 22 points, 5 assists. He's looking to make his first All-Star game. And then Reggie Jackson, I got to get his rating up. It looks like he's going to be the top backup on this team. He had 16 points and 6 assists, 7 of 13 from the field, 22 minutes. The team is going to need this regularly from him in order for him to fill Bruce Brown's shoes. He struggled offensively last year, so hopefully, definitely the Nuggets are hoping that he's able to replicate performances like that. They, of course, also traded Bones Highland to the LA Clippers. So if Jackson can just replicate Bones' offensive output and they can get the defense from guys like Christian Brown and Peyton Watson, then they'll probably be in okay shape. So the Grizzlies, they're not really in okay shape. Jaren Jackson Jr., he bounced back in this one, 21 points, 9 rebounds, 3 blocks, 9 of 12 from the field, 2 for 2 on threes, but he did have 5 fouls and only played 28 minutes as a result of the foul trouble. He's got to stay out of foul trouble if he's going to repeat as Defensive Player of the Year. Especially, Steven Adams, Brandon Clark, Santi Aldama, all sidelined. They really don't have anything besides him and Xavier Tillman at center. So they can't afford to be missing him for long stretches of the game. Marcus Smart, he had a 20-point game, 5 assists, 5 steals as well. Just holding court until John Morant returns. Desmond Bane had a subpar offensive game, 15 points on 4 of 17 shooting. Tillman, for what it's worth, 13 points, 8 rebounds, 3 steals, 2 blocks, 1 for 3 on threes. He is 2 of 8 on the season, so his 57 three-point rating, that's definitely got to go up to at least a 67 or something, right? John Conchar, he did not play in the opener for DNP's coach's decision, but he got 30 minutes in this one. Probably a mistake for him to not play in the previous one. And Derrick Rose led the bench scorers with 16 points in 22 minutes. Let's go over to the New York Knicks, who beat the Atlanta Hawks 126-120. Jalen Brunson outdueled Trae Young in this one. which will endear him even more in the hearts of all New Yorkers. 31 points, 11 of 21 from the field, 8 of 12 on threes. Also had 5 assists. R.J. Barrett, 2 consecutive good games for R.J. Barrett at the start of a season. This is incredible. 26 points. He's averaging 25 over the first 2 games. We'll see if he can keep that up. Julius Randle picking up where he left off in the last one, and really all of the last year's playoffs. 17 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists, was 3 for 7 on threes, but did not shoot terribly well on twos. He is now 3 for 17 on twos this year. 3 for 17 as a power forward. I don't anticipate that he's going to make the All-Star team this year. I think if any Nick makes the All-Star team, it's probably going to be Jalen Brunson. But oh man, the full Julius Randle experience is going on right now. Mitchell Robinson, 7 points, 13 rebounds, 4 steals, 4 blocks. He was quiet in the opener with the bad matchup against Porzingis, but played much better in this one. Emmanuel quickly, a quieter night than the opener where he had 24, 11 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, but solid overall. He is the favorite for 6th man of the year, I would say. Dante DiVincenzo had his best game as a Knick, 16 points, including 3 of 5 on threes. For the Atlanta Hawks, Trae Young, 18 points and 12 rebounds, had 3 steals, but once again, poor shooting night. 4 of 16 from the field, 8 of 10 from the line though. 8 for 35 from the field on the year. That's 23% from the field. So definitely not off to a strong start so far. DeAndre Hunter had 27 points, bouncing back from a subpar opener. DeJounte Murray, kind of a standard game for him, 18 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Clint Capella, ditto, 13 and 13. Bogdanovich had 16. And then Jalen Johnson, who's one of the more improved Hawks this year, had 11 points and 9 rebounds in 30 minutes, logging more minutes than Saddiq Bey. The improvement of Jalen Johnson this season is part of why Saddiq Bey did not get a contract extension, because they're not sure if he's going to be the starter or not. It could be Jalen Johnson, who is 3 years younger as well. So it's a situation worth keeping an eye on. Let's go over to the Bulls, who beat the Raptors in a wild night, wild ending, 104 to 103. DeMar DeRozan, with 4 seconds left, he got fouled on a 3. They were down 3. He hit the first 2 and then missed the free throw that would have tied it. Then Pascal Siakam commits an offensive foul. DeRozan gets fouled and that was with 4 seconds left. So I didn't see how Siakam committed the offensive foul, but it had to have been like on an inbound or something, because I don't think any time elapsed. DeRozan, he gets fouled again with 1 second left and then missed the free throw that would have won it. So they were down 1 with him going to the line for 2, and he only hit the first and then missed the second. So not the clutchest performance that we've ever seen from DeMar DeRozan, but he ended up forcing overtime. And then in the final possession of overtime, man, rough clutch game for Pascal Siakam, because he got stripped by Alex Caruso with 8 seconds left and the Bulls down 2. Zach LaVine pushes the ball down court, attacks the rim, draws the defense, and kicks it to Alex Caruso in the corner, who drains the 3 with 2 seconds left to give the Bulls a 1-point victory over the Toronto Raptors. So DeRozan, aside from his hiccups at the line, had a solid game. 33 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 11 of 22 from the field, 1 of 3 on threes, 10 of 14 from the line, of course missing 2 crucial ones at the end. He did also have 4 steals and played 41 minutes overall in this first overtime game of the season. Caruso, he had 13 points and 13 rebounds to go along with his heroics in this one. 5 of 9 from the field. Kobe White, 17 points. Nikola Vucevic, quiet game for him, 11 and 12, but on 4 of 15 shooting. LaVine, he was probably correct to pass the ball when he was attacking the rim, because he had 8 points on 3 of 14 shooting and was 0 for 6 on 3. So he had the most important assist of the night. So get on him for, 5 years ago or however many years ago, he probably would have taken that himself. Patrick Williams, 3 points on 1 of 5 shooting, 3 fouls, only played 13 minutes. The Bulls are not fucking around with him anymore. Torrey Craig is probably a better player than Williams overall, and it wouldn't surprise me if Craig ended up overtaking Williams for that starting job. Let's head on over to Toronto, who put a valiant effort but came up short in the end. Scotty Barnes triple-doubled, 22 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, 9 of 14 from the field, and did hit a 3, 1 for 2. Siakam had kind of a rough game in the clutch, but still had 18 points and 8 rebounds. Dennis Schroeder had 10 points and 10 assists. Jakob Poeltl, 8 points and 6 rebounds, but also had 6 fouls in 19 minutes, so he was pretty much a non-factor in this one. Chris Boucher did not play in the opener, but he had 10 points in 17 minutes, probably playing a little bit more because of Poeltl's foul trouble. And for what it's worth, Harrison Barnes, he played 3 positions in the first quarter: shooting guard, power forward, and point guard. He starts the game as shooting guard. Gary Trent checks in for him, and then he checks back into the game for Siakam at the 4. And then I believe OJ Anunoby checked back in for Dennis Schroeder. So at that point, Barnes becomes the de facto point guard running the offense. So yeah, just another player where you can only pick 2 positions in 2K, but he absolutely plays 3, and there's no way for the game engine to really recognize that. Heading over to the San Antonio Spurs, who beat the Rockets 126 to 122. Victor Wembanyama gets his first career win. Certainly, with the Spurs getting the Rockets early on the schedule, the league might have had that planned out a little bit. They wanted to get things out of the way early. Victor, 21 points, 12 rebounds, 2 steals, 3 blocks. Did have 4 turnovers, but only 2 fouls. He was in foul trouble in the last one. 7 of 19 from the field. Missed all of his threes, 0 for 6, but was 7 for 8 from the line. He's probably going to make the All-Star team this year. He is the most important defensive player on this team, and he's more or less going to be the guy getting the touches on the offensive end on most nights. Devin Vassell, he was solid as well. 25 points, 7 of 13 from the field, 8 of 11 on free throws. Keldon Johnson chipped in 20 points. Jeremy Sohan, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 of 9 from the field, 0 for 1 on threes, 4 for 4 from the free throw line. Kind of a work in progress. He's the starting point guard on this team, but absolutely not a better player than Trey Jones, who had 6 points and 8 assists and played 33 minutes. So they certainly have not abandoned Jones as the point guard. Sohan is splitting his minutes between point guard and power forward. And Cedi Osman, he had 14 points, hit 4 threes in this one. So the Spurs overall look like a much improved team. They were not trying at all. They were definitely on the tank job all the way for Victor. And now that they got him, don't be surprised if they push for like 30 to 35 wins, if not 40. Who knows? I'm not willing to say that Victor's got that level of impact yet, but really the sky is the limit for him. And the Houston Rockets, the sky isn't really the limit for them. They've dropped to 0-2 on the year. Alperen Sengun, 25 points, 14 rebounds, 7 assists, 11 of 18 from the field. Did have 6 turnovers and 6 fouls in 41 minutes. So certainly had his hands full a little bit with Victor in this one. But the closest thing you can get to Nikola Jokic, I think, and he's only 21 years old. So, Fred VanVleet, he had his best game as a Rocket, 24 points, 8 rebounds, 12 assists, was 10 of 20 from the field. And Jalen Green, he bounced back as well, also shooting 10 of 20 from the field, good for 22 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. Dylan Brooks had 17 points, Jabari Smith, 13 points and 9 rebounds, 5 of 16 from the field though, so he's once again off to a slow start. Not quite as slow as the start he had in his rookie season, but still, you would like to see him shoot just a little bit better. Jeff Green, he had 10 points on 4 of 4 shooting. He's shooting it pretty good. But ultimately, the Rockets lost this one at the free throw line. They were 10 of 20 from the free throw line in this one, compared to Victor, who was 7 of 8 on his own. And obviously, the Rockets lost this one by 4 points. So if they even shot 15 of 20, they probably would have won. Kind of is what it is. Heading over to Detroit. Cade Cunningham uh, did not follow up on his season opener. 12 points, 6 assists, 4-13 from the field, 2 of 5 on threes, fouled out in 24 minutes. The silver lining is he is 6 of 14 on threes on the year, so this is a much improved area. Probably going to be boosting his 3-point rating shortly. But the rest of the team, especially the bench, stepped up, and that was what was able to secure the win for the Pistons, 111 over the Hornets, 99. Alec Burks, he led all scorers with 24 points, 5 of 10 from the field, 3 of 7 for 3, and 11 of 12 from the free throw line. Jaden Ivey, he had 18 points, 4 assists, 8 of 14 from the field, and even Marvin Bagley III had 14 points in a solid game. Jalen Duren, he had 14 points and 17 rebounds, 7 of 8 from the field. Isaiah Stewart chipped in 15 and 7. And then Asar Thompson is one of the more interesting prospects that I've seen in quite a while. He had 6 points, but also had 12 rebounds and 6 assists as a small forward. Normally, you would see this kind of production out of like a point guard that couldn't shoot, but for a small forward to have that kind of rebound numbers and passing acumen, as well as typically guys on the wing are able to shoot, so maybe that's what it is. Maybe he has all those boxes checked, but is only technically playing the 3 because they already have other players at the 1. But he is one of the better. He's probably the best defensive player on the team, and he had a pretty good matchup against the Hornets, as he definitely had to guard Gordon Hayward and Brandon Miller in this one. LaMelo Ball, he had 20 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists, but only shot 4-17 from the field. Did make up for it though, 10 of 12 from the free throw line. He's trying to get back to the All-Star game in this season. Terry Rozier, 20 points, but he was 0 for 7 on threes, and the team was 7 of 28 overall on threes, which is ultimately why they fell short. A solid game though for Gordon Hayward, 19, 9, and 4. Brandon Miller added 17 and 6 off the bench in 33 minutes. PJ Washington fell back down to earth, 13 points, and fouled out. And then Mark Williams, I mentioned that Jalen Duren had 14 points and 17 rebounds. Well, Mark Williams had 2 points and 5 fouls in 21 minutes, so completely outplayed by Jalen Duren. And then let's finish off with the Orlando Magic, who beat the Blazers 102-97. Really not a ton to talk about here. Kind of a standard games for everybody. Franz Wagner, 23 points. Mo Wagner was the breakout player, I guess, scoring 17 points, 8 of 8 from the field. So Magic were led by the Wagner brothers. And then Cole Anthony chipped in 18 points off the bench. He's going to be a contender for 6th man of the year. And then finishing off with the Blazers, the news broke early yesterday that Anthony Simons is going to be out 4 to 6 weeks, tore a ligament in his thumb. So Shaedon Sharpe, as a result of that, is going to be the starting 2 guard. And look for him to be the leading scorer for the Blazers in Simons' absence. He got the start in this one and had 24 points, albeit on 9 of 23 shooting, 4 of 11 on threes. So the touches are certainly going to be there. He's probably going to be taking 20 shots a game and thus averaging 20 points. And hey, maybe that gets him the most improved player. Because if he's putting up a lot gaudier numbers than he had what did he average as a rookie? Just a little 16 points. Okay, so actually more than I thought. I would have thought of him as like a 12 to 13 point scorer, but if he averaged 16 last year, then yeah, he's definitely going to be averaging 20 points in the absence of Simons. DeAndre Ayton, he bounced back. He was in foul trouble in the last one, but was able to log 14 points and 15 rebounds in this one. Jeremy Grant, kind of a ho-hum game, 15 points on 4-14 shooting. He's just waiting around to get traded. Kind of ditto for Malcolm Brogdon, who had 18 points and ended up playing probably a little more than point guard in this one because Scoot Henderson was really struggling. 7 points, only 2 assists, 3 of 12 from the field, 5 turnovers and 5 fouls in 25 minutes. Probably going to end up dropping Scoot's rating a little bit. It's for rookie point guards, it's usually a little rough. He's got a great catch and shoot 3 ball, but he's still his pull-up jumper is still a work in progress. So other players that he gets the Russell Westbrook comparison. a lot. I think Baron Davis might be a better comparison for him. And Baron Davis, he also struggled his first during his rookie year, and was actually coming off the bench during his rookie season. Maybe what in a perfect world, maybe Scoot should have been coming off the bench during like the Damian Lillard's last year in Portland or something like that. I don't know if he's ready to be a quote unquote starting point guard as of yet, but he's definitely going to get the opportunities. I'm just, with a game like that, it definitely, I don't think that he's going to be in the rookie of the year contention with Victor. I think Chet Holmgren is probably going to be the more consistent player as like the second best rookie and Victor's primary competition to the award. But anyway, 11 teams or 11 games, 22 teams, and we knocked that out. I think in a pretty reasonable time compared to the last time. So yeah, be on the lookout for my the next video. I'm going to be trying to recap all the games as they happen. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it for tomorrow night, as I do have plans. It is Halloween weekend, but I am going to be I'm going to be updating my roster on a daily basis, and even if I don't get to do a video review tomorrow, I'm still going to review all of the games and maybe then do just a quick recap of. I don't have to do daily recaps of all the teams, but maybe like a weekly recap or something. Just as we, right now, because all the teams are playing for the first time, there's definitely a lot of information to glean from reviewing all the box scores and what happened in the NBA. So hopefully you guys found this informative. It definitely helps me go through my process just to see what's happening in the NBA. And yeah, I'm pretty bad at outros, so let's just stop the video here. Peace out.